How to play Courier Chess. This interesting variation of chess existed for about 600 years. We have evidence of it being played back around 1200, and then the last indication was that it was still being played around 1800, mostly in Germany and the Netherlands. Most famously, the painting here, 500 years old, by Lucas van Leyden, depicts a whole bunch of very intriguing people involved in a game of Courier chess. And this set which we have here is actually recreated from the detailed depictions in that painting. There's actually enough information in that painting to show what the pieces are and to confirm that it is a game of Courier chess in progress. Before we talk about Courier chess properly, we should discuss what chess looked like back in those days. The medieval chess and the chess that existed at the beginning of the Renaissance was a little bit different from our chess. A typical king in Europe looked like this. It had 3 tiers, and that was the royal figure. A typical bishop, well, a figure like this could have been a bishop or a rook. It happens to be a bishop in this set. Knights almost always had a horse's head, as they do today, and rooks could be different things. This one happens to be a sort of a ball head. Pawns are always some little thing. They're the foot soldiers. If you're familiar with our chess, which I assume you are, modern chess, you know that the rooks move this way, you know, forward, backward, or sideways in straight lines. They did in those days too. The knight moves in this little L shape, and it can jump over other pieces, same as it was in those days. The bishop was different. It moved 2 spaces diagonally and could jump over a piece. The queen was very different. She could move 1 space diagonally, not powerful at all by the standards of our modern chess. The king was the same. It moved 1 space in any direction. And the object of the game was the same, to checkmate the opposing king. In those days, a stalemate was also considered a win. Just as long as you could entrap the king and force his capture, it was considered a win. And in the ancient game, a bare king was considered a win. If you could remove all of his pieces and have only the king standing, that was a way to defeat him as well. Now, take this medieval game that was brought in from Persia, adapted to different forms of pieces in Europe, and add to it 4 more squares. We're going to stretch out our concept of chess here so that we've got 3 novel pieces in the resulting game. Notice the kings are facing each other. Sometimes they did, sometimes they didn't in the old game. In this particular game, they do face each other. This is still the king and queen, but now we've got the couriers, and that's what the game is named after, couriers. This is Courier chess, and these guys move a whole long diagonal as far as they want. Yes, it's the move of the modern bishop. Interestingly, it sort of looks like a head of a modern bishop, but it was the courier, and that's what the game is named for. Next to the king stood his man, and we'll call him the sage. That moved just like the king, but he could be captured just like any other piece. Next to the queen, sort of a logical complement to her move, a piece that moved 1 space in any direction, forward, backward, or sideways, but could not move diagonally. This piece was the jester. The ancient German word for that was Schleich. That's basically what you need to know to play this game. Of course, it developed more slowly than our game because it didn't have a piece that moves like a queen, but it sort of bridged the gap between ancient chess, which had no modern bishop, and this game, which had the courier, which did have the move of our modern bishop. To begin the game, there was a tradition of always moving the pawns in front of the rooks and in front of the queens 2 spaces forward. Now, the pawns didn't normally move 2 spaces forward like that, but in this game, just to start it, you did that. And then the queen would move 2 spaces forward, and she doesn't move like that either in the old game, but to get started, they would do this, and then proceed with whatever they are going to do to try to entrap the other player's king and, whoops, that doesn't move like that. Try to entrap the other player's king and all the intriguing things that chess has meant to us for eons. When pawns got to the end of the board, they became a queen. However that was done, in those days, there were different rules actually for promotion throughout the history of chess. Many things were changed. The kings sometimes had a special move to begin the game, a move like a knight or something, but we don't really know exactly what special rules were involved in Courier Chess besides that special opening. And then we know the normal things, the normal conventions that involve trying to entrap the king and how the pieces move and having to move out of check and all that kind of thing. I assume you know how to play chess, and so all you need to know about this game in order to enjoy this game is the difference in the moves of the pieces and a few special things like the opening and stalemate as a win. This is how to play Courier Chess, and I highly recommend that you go onto ancientchess.com, the website, and download a booklet of how to play this game. This is a nice booklet. It's free. Just go to the website, ancientchess.com, and download this booklet. You print it out on your own printer, and it tells you everything you need to know. Pictures, diagrams, explanations. You can also go to Kurierchess.com and learn more about just how this recreation of the 500-year-old chess set came to be. Thank you for listening. This is Ancient Chess and Kurierchess.com.